Okey, apa khabar semua? Salam sejahtera. Selamat datang ke Astro Arena 801-802 HD. Saya Ben kembali menemani anda untuk satu lagi edisi forum dan ya, hangat diperkatakan 10 adik-adik kita yang telah pun bermula perjalanan mereka untuk menjadi bintang-bintang terbaru negara yang mewakili Malaysia, bukan sahaja ke Jerman nanti, 2 daripada mereka, tapi terlebih dahulu mereka ke Singapura untuk Allianz Junior Football Camp 2019. Untuk itu, saya hari ini ditemani oleh Joseph Gross yang merupakan Ketua Pegawai Eksekutif Alianz Life Insurance Malaysia Berhad. Joe, I want to thank you so much for coming once again and sharing with us your plans and everything that Allianz Junior Football Camp has to offer for these boys and also in changing lives, of course. So, you know, AJFC has produced many professional football players in Malaysia, and most of them are currently in the Malaysian league itself. What can you say for all the results from the AJFC initiatives so far?
Thanks for having me, Bern, first of all. It's been a huge success, really, from our perspective. Maybe a little bit of framework also, because I actually created this whole Allianz Junior Football Camp for the group in 2010, so about 9 years ago. And the objective was to really link football, to develop youth with our brand, okay? Because we support football globally, we support Bayern Munich, the Allianz Arena. So the extension to football is a natural.
Right.
And then in Malaysia, since 2012, we are also in the Allianz Junior Football Camp. Over the past years, over 9,000 young children have played in these camps.
Right.
And a key thing is really to develop football talent, of course, but also to give back to these young people, to develop them as human beings, to, you know, instill confidence, etc., into them. So from our side, for the brand, for our company, in terms of developing young people, it's been a huge success.
Yeah, and I had the opportunity to meet these kids firsthand yesterday, and I couldn't agree more with you when it comes to changing lives. And you can see the impact that it has sort of created in these kids' lives by the way they behave these days itself, right? Lots of people out there who may not still know the AJFC initiative over the last couple of years that has already been started. Could you share with us with regards to the format and the selection criteria for the 2 players who essentially make it all the way to Munich?
Yeah, that's the pinnacle, right? Going to Sevener Straße in Munich. But it's a tough way up there. So it's a competitive setup. It's nationwide, so we include East Coast, we have Sarawak, Sabah, so it truly covers Malaysia. And it's like literally run as a league format.
Right.
So teams play against teams, the best are selected. Now in July, right now actually, the 10 best selected players are going to Singapore. That's the first stage of an Asian Cup.
Right.
There again, they'll be playing competitively, and then the 2 best who are selected out of that will ultimately go to Munich, together with many other Asian young people. Right. And then in Bayern, Sevener Straße, Allianz Arena, that's a once-in-a-life experience.
Yeah, just like the way you said it, though, just now. It just you know, brings up all those dreams and passions of these kids who, you know, who are already great, being the top 10 that has been selected to go all the way to Singapore. But, you know, to make that cut of being the best 2 is a huge test, right? AJFC at the international level, not many other organizers were brave enough to, you know, invest in this kind of initiative. So what can you comment from this opportunity?
See, I think it's literally, okay, so we're a company, okay? Right. But as a company, you have to give back. So in my view, this is literally both. It benefits our company, Allianz, because, see, let's be honest, an insurance company is not very emotional, right?
That's true.
So to create a emotional connection with football and with young people is good for us as a company.
Brilliant.
Giving back to young people is good for them. So in my view, this is really a win-win on both sides. So therefore, from my deep belief, this is a kind of a no-brainer why a company as Allianz invests in this.
And it's already been 8 years, Joe. You know, just to mention it's been a while. What are sort of the differences that you implement for this edition that makes it special, you know, compared to the last couple of years?
It's getting better and better. The quality of the players is getting better. Yeah. Also, we as organizers are getting better and better. Let me say this. You know, how we select the talents, how we develop them, how we evolve them.
Right.
And I think one aspect that you touched on also is, you know, how can we develop them as humans?
That's true.
I think that's a direction, Bern, to be honest, you know, beyond the football.
Right.
How can we coach them? How can we develop them? How can we instill pride and confidence into that? I think that's a direction we should continue to push.
Back to you, Joe. With regards to what I personally got to experience yesterday with these kids who are super talented, and you know, I'm just glad to have been able to play a small little part in help changing the lives of these kids. Like you mentioned just now, that's basically the dream, the passion, and the way forward. So let's talk about them going to Singapore and how sessions like this with getting them to understand what media is all about, giving them some sort of media training. How important do you think, in your eyes, that is?
I think it's actually the most important, to be really honest. When you want to touch a person's life and you transform them, if you just instill the confidence, instill the pride, if you can get the courage there to just step out. So yesterday I actually met 3 of these young kids, 2 from Sabah and 1 from Sarawak.
Right.
Shy guys. They're great professionals, they're great footballers,
exactly.
right?
Yeah.
But they stand there, their eyes don't meet your eyes, etc. Yeah. And if we can get them, just change 5, 10, 15, 20 of them, instill confidence, I think that will make an impact for their lives far beyond the football. Football is important, but their lives is so much more than just the football.
Right. So true. And, we here at Astro Arena as well, we constantly get young boys and young girls who are aspiring to be athletes, who are already athletes at the age of 15, 16, 17-year-olds. And they kind of struggle sometimes during interviews of this sort. And our duty was sort of like to get them an understanding of what to fear and what not to fear. Right? So speaking of that, how do you see trainings of these sort not just help them become better people, but also sort of like gets that superstar value out of them?
Yeah, see, you actually inspired me when we talked that next year or moving ahead, we'll make that part much more important in the whole Allianz Junior Football Camp. Accompany these people, these young people, right from the beginning. So not only the top 2 or the top 10, but literally everybody throughout all of the camps, that we accompany the program with coaching sessions, that they can get a much broader feeling of who they are and, be proud of who they are and their achievements, and that they can really have the courage and dare to do things.
And that's the thing that people keep asking, right? Like the parents especially, after all this is said and done, if my kid doesn't make it to Munich, for example, what can he take away from this? Yeah.
And that's it. If the kids would say, this has changed my life, even if I've not made it to the finals, but I'm a different person now. I see myself differently. I see myself in different eyes. I have the courage to do things. It's changed me as a person. God, that would be...
Yeah, because the general perception is when you go for this sort of camps, it's all physical focused, in the sense that, okay, we're trying to make you better players, we're trying to get you to the level where we believe that you can play internationally, but it's never specifically to train them as people, right? And when we talk about, changing lives, making them better people, or building people in that sense, what do you think moving forward can be done more to instill that belief in themselves?
I think there are 2 aspects. So number 1, I think the game football itself already has core values.
Right.
Competitiveness, teamwork, the
discipline.
The discipline, the respect, the integrity, etc., honesty. Those are values. So I think flushing that out also in the football itself, weaving it in also and making them aware of what they're doing and the values they're following. Step 1. Number 2 is, I think, literally we'll expose them much more now to mentors such as you, other corporate mentors, that they really get this exposure to say, look, these are also humans, and then make them also have, as I said, always this own pride in themselves. So really expanding that far beyond just only the football.
That's amazing, Joe. When you mentioned that, I'm already thinking 10 years from now how the football landscape in Malaysia is going to look like. It's brilliant what you say. The small little things that we do today can impact the future generation and the generation of footballers that we are creating.
Yeah. I think it's almost a little, my dream would be beyond the generation of footballers that we are creating. It would be the generation of young Malaysians that are coming up.
That's amazing. Yeah, when you put it that way, it's just so surreal to think that that's a possibility. But when you look at Alianz and what they've done over the last 8 years, and now that we've sort of come to this path, how do you foresee the addition for next year, and how is it going to be when it comes to changing lives and building these kids, making them better people?
Yeah, so I can't disclose any details, as always, but I think it would be a big surprise if Allianz would not continue. So I think we can be very confident we will continue it for sure next year. And I think you can also be very confident next year we can connect again.
Yeah, that's for sure.
That we'll broaden the scope, as we had said, in terms of really shaping up and helping these children's to change their lives and to transform their personality.
Yeah, and what are your expectations for these kids in Singapore right now? Because they've already taken the plane after the session that I managed to have with them over 2 hours yesterday. I think personally they have a better understanding of what needs to be done and how they have to behave in that sense, or how they should behave. But what are your expectations from them in Singapore as they are going there and representing the name of Malaysia, literally?
Yeah, so number one, I want them to have fun. Number two, I want them to be proud of Malaysia and that they've made it up there. And number three, I want them to be successful. But for me, the success itself, as I said, it's 10 kids, 2 kids.
Yeah.
It's a part of the game. But most important is have fun and be proud of who you are and what you've achieved.
Okay, that's amazing, Joe. You know what? I want to thank you so much for your time and actually taking the time to come down and be here with us and also tell us, what's in line for the future, and also everything that's got to do with Allianz Junior Football Camp and Allianz itself, and what the dream and the vision is for years to come, and also for the current Allianz Junior Football Camp 2019. Alright, untuk anda semua kita nak ucap terima kasih kerana kesetiaan anda bersama dengan kami. Jangan lupa untuk mengikuti perkembangan adik-adik kita dalam Allianz Junior Football Camp yang kita akan bawakan di Astro Arena 801 dan juga 802 HD. Dan saya nak ingatkan kepada anda, kehangatan Liga Futsal Kebangsaan masih diteruskan. Malaysia Premier Futsal League 2019. Itu tahun bila tu? 25 Julai Perak lawan Pahang 8 malam, 27 Julai KL City FC lawan Kuala Lumpur 5.45 petang di Kompleks Sukan Panasonic Shah Alam, saya difahamkan. Melaka juga bertemu dengan Terengganu jam 8 malam. Okey, so jangan lupa tunggu janji anda bersama dengan kami, bukan sahaja di 801 802 HD tetapi juga di laman platform digital kita, iaitu di Stadium Astro dan juga Astro Go. Okay, terima kasih kerana kesudian anda bersama dengan Astro Arena, majulah sukan untuk Malaysia, dan kita akan berjumpa lagi esok hari. Bye-bye.